Think the transition to a senior living community is an easy one? Let me tell you, you can make it easier, but it's not easy. My mom made the transition with my help, so I can tell you from personal experience how hard it was for her. As a licensed realtor with my senior residential real estate specialist designation, I've also helped numerous seniors sell their homes as part of the transition to a senior living community. It's my hope today to help you with things that you should know when considering the move to a senior living community, in whatever form that is. Then, towards the end of this video, I'll be addressing what I believe is the single most important tip, and I'll also be sharing some additional resources that I was able to find that I just think might be helpful for you too. First, it's important to embrace this time of life. Don't fear it. Look at it like a new opportunity to live life better than ever before. You know, it's sometimes looked at like a dreaded time, and depression is sometimes associated with this stage of life. But there doesn't have to be anything to be sad about. The retirement community that my mom went to was a wonderful place. She made a lot of friends. My only complaint about this place was that she often didn't take my calls, but she was hanging out with her friends. They even had a happy hour there. I always knew never to call mom on Wednesday nights after happy hour. Sometimes she complained about the food, but she was often going out to eat with her friends, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. Plus, she kept all sorts of food and snacks in her room. She really had no worries at all here, and she'd come to visit us on the weekends, the holidays, and frankly, whenever she just missed us. However, this time of life is associated with a lot of change. As such, it's important to ensure that you've got the appropriate emotional support. My mom dealt with all sorts of stress, and it was evident in her decision making. Maybe you've got a family member or a good friend, but identify someone that you can share your feelings with for emotional support. My mom and I did a lot of praying for strength through these times, and I spoke with her several times each week. Now, maybe you don't have a family member to help in this area, so look around for other options. Maybe some sort of counseling could help. Maybe you've got a longtime friend that you can trust. If so, tell them your concerns and how you value them and their insight. They might be grateful to be a pillar of strength for you through this time. One of the first most important things to start with is to start planning early. I've heard it said that failing to plan is kind of like planning to fail. For my mom, she didn't start early with a plan, and when she realized it was time to make the transition, well, it was almost too late already. Given that she hadn't planned, there was an additional layer of stress for us all during this transition. This stress can cause anyone to make bad decisions. Maybe you're at the point where you feel you've already waited too long, but don't fret. It's important that you take your time during this process. Identify someone that you know and you trust to get their insight to help with this plan. In the best scenario, plan a year or several years in advance. You'll understand why this is so important later in this video as I address some other important things to consider. Next, meet with a financial advisor and an attorney and get a plan now. Get your finances order and get clear on any debts that you may have. Consider consolidating bank accounts, maybe some IRAs or brokerage accounts. Get them together. Make sure that you can afford the new setting in the retirement community today and 20 years later. Prices in retirement communities often increase, so develop a plan today to plan for these increases that will eventually come. Our days on earth are numbered, and only God knows when He's going to take us home, so planning here is vital. Living with a family member years down the road might be a good thing, but wouldn't you rather have a choice in that matter? Maybe you'd want your children to have some say in that as well. That attorney could help with a will and estate planning. Maybe this planning could help you to pay for retirement living in some way, maybe that you haven't considered. I've worked with customers that had elderly parents pass without any planning, and their family was in a very bad place because of the failure to plan by their parents. Of course, the will is not necessarily planning for a transition to retirement living like the title of this video, but I do believe it's something that you should be considering at this stage of life. Now, maybe you've already got this legal stuff taken care of, so let's address something a little bit more practical that I'm betting is something that you're going to want to do. Consider downsizing some of that stuff. Don't worry, we've all got it. Me too. Some of us have way more than we need, and we all know it. Many of our belongings have sentimental value that's hard to part with. Retirement communities typically don't have room for all that stuff, so minimizing is an often overlooked component when preparing for retirement living. Ask yourself tough questions like, will my heirs actually want that? Yes, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother's hand-carved armoire is made of the finest Italian wood, and it's been handed down for generations. But if your children don't actually value it, get rid of it. Failure to do so might make it harder for your children or your heirs in the future. They may face guilt or feel the need to store it somewhere so that their children will have to deal with it. Consider taking the time and asking around to identify who might want that stuff. Perhaps a yard sale or an estate sale could be another good option. If you're finding this information helpful, do me a huge favor and show your support for this channel by hitting the like and the subscribe buttons, and click that little notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post other videos just like this. Now let's suppose that your new living arrangement in a retirement community does have space. If that's the case, consider hiring a moving company. Now this is a tricky little thing. Like every other industry, there are good and bad moving companies, so do your homework. Ask around to friends and family and check online reviews. Yes, you could have your family move you, but if you have the financial ability, have someone else do it. I'm sure your family and your friends would be happy to help, but that time with them might be better spent enjoyed with them, not sweating and stressing and hauling furniture up and down stairs and all that. Meeting with an experienced realtor to determine the value of your home in today's market can be a wise thing to do at this time as well. I'm Chuck Shaver and I'm a local realtor, and if you'd like help here, simply give me a call or leave a comment in the comment section below and I will get back to you. Now this doesn't mean selling your home, although that could be an option if it's the right situation for you. Knowing the value of your home minus any mortgage debt should be part of that financial planning that I spoke of earlier. Maybe a reverse mortgage or a home equity line of credit could be an option for you. The point here is to know what you have and to share that information with that trusted person or your financial advisor that I spoke of earlier in this video, which will increase the likelihood of making sound decisions during this difficult time. I'm currently preparing to sell a couple's home in Deland that has been in that home for 47 years, and they had no idea what the value was of that home before we met. Don't just get some online valuation of what some computer thinks out in, out in California for your home's value here in Florida. Speak to a local professional. Meeting with a local realtor can help give you insight as to whether you should consider upgrades or maybe address any deferred maintenance. A local realtor may be able to provide reputable local contractors to help with necessary maintenance, and they can even provide alternative selling options if the maintenance or the entire process is overwhelming. This knowledge gives you options, and options are important as you consider the transition to retirement living. Next, get a health checkup. Now, I know this might seem obvious during this time, but hang with me here. Some retirement communities have health services on site, or maybe they've got connections to them. However, it might be wise to check with your doctor. Maybe you've already got a relationship with a medical professional that you trust. These years are often faced with declining health. Now, maybe that's not you, but sooner or later, we're all going to have health issues. Having confidence in your current health situation is a vital component of the transition to retirement living so that you can determine the right setting for you. Next, do your homework. There are all sorts of online resources out there that can tell you all about all sorts of retirement community options, and I'm betting that just about every one of these has some sort of website. You can find reviews and find some living options that you may have not even considered. If getting online isn't the best option for you, get with that trusted family member or friend that I spoke of earlier and enlist their help. Try to identify several options and then contact them and ask to come and take a tour of their facility. They'll be happy to help and show you what they have to offer. Different facilities can offer very different services and their costs can vary widely too. So take your time. For my mom, it was Heidi. Heidi was the person that she met at her facility, and she made Mom feel right at home, and Mom reached out to Heidi quite a bit, especially early on. When you're in these facilities, pay attention to the smells of the home and pay attention to the people living there. Are they busy doing activities? Does their activity level resemble yours? It's very important that you feel comfortable in your new home, that you feel welcome there. Remember, this should be a good situation that you should enjoy, so don't neglect this vital piece. Once you've identified what you believe to be the right home, ask to have a meal there. Perhaps you could sit with some of their residents. This may be the single most important thing that you can do during this entire process, as failure to do this could land you in a really bad situation. Maybe it'll feel awkward to you, but the people selling rooms in these places will work to meet your needs. So don't be shy here. They know their experience with these type of concerns, the concerns that you have. As you're walking through the halls, introduce yourself to current residents and ask how they like it there. Like anywhere else, there are always going to be complainers and those that are happy with life. But asking several people should give you some insight about what's really going on. Now, don't commit to any specific place until you've given it significant thought and discussed it with that person that I spoke of earlier. This is going to help to alleviate any pressure from someone trying to sell you on their facility. If you're considering a retirement community anywhere here in Central Florida, feel free to let me know, as I've got some connections right here in the area. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to help find the right place for you. Of course, if you've got real estate needs anywhere here in Central Florida, either leave a comment in the comment section below or simply pick up the phone and give me a call. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.